Students, hope you have all watched the previous video. Now today we are going to continue with the reading C part, Can't Climb Trees Anymore. Before going to the lesson, let's see about the author of the lesson. The author of our lesson is Ruskin Bond. He was born in Kausali, Himachal Pradesh in 1934. He wrote number of short stories, essays, novels and many books for children. The Room on the Roof was his first novel, written when he was 17. It received the John Llewellyn Rhine Memorial Prize in 1957. In 1992, he received the Sahitya Akademi Award for his short story collection, A Tree Shall Grow in Dehra, given by the Sahitya Akademi, India's National Academy of Literature. He was awarded the Padma Shri in 1999 for contribution to children's literature. So he is our famous author, Ruskin Bond, and today we are going to know about the short story Can't Climb Trees Anymore. It is a wonderful narration of our author. It expresses the nostalgic love of a man for his childhood environment and his memories in youth. So let's go into our lesson. He stood on the grass verge by the side of the road and looked over the garden wall at the old house. It hadn't changed much. The old house, built with solid blocks of granite, was not altered at all, but there was a new outhouse and there were fewer trees. He was glad to see that the jackfruit tree stood at the side of a building, casting its shade on the wall. He remembered his grandmother saying, "A blessing rests on the house where the shadow of a tree falls," and so the present owner must also be receiving the tree's blessings. At the spot where he stood, there had once been a turnstile, and as a boy he would swing on it, going round and round until he was quite dizzy. Now the turnstile had gone, the opening walled up, tall hollyhocks grew on the other side of the wall. He refers to a middle-aged man. So this middle-aged man stood where he was standing on the grass verge by the side of the road. What do you mean by verge? Verge meaning is nothing but a piece of grass at the edge of a path, road, etc. So on the roadside, while you are walking, so edge of the path you will be finding a piece of grass. It comes under as a verge. He looked over the garden wall, where at the old house. Mean that. So once he used to live in that old house. He wanted to look at this old house, so he came again when he was a middle-aged man. So when he observed the house, he did not feel many changes. So he said it hadn't changed much. How was it built? With solid blocks of granite, and wasn't altered, means changed at all. There was a new outhouse, and also fewer trees were there. That is only one change. He was so happy because once he used to have a jackfruit tree. Still, it is there at the side of the building, casting its shade. Casting means that it is giving a shade. It means giving a shadow on the wall. He remembered. See, usually our grandparents will say some words In the same way, here the grandmother said that. What did she say? A blessing rests on the house where the shadow of a tree falls. Mean the tree gives protection to everyone by giving it shade. And they used to convey that it is just like God. Its shade is as cool as the blessings of God. It helps man in several ways as God helps. So she feels it is a precious and it is just like a mother when a tree is giving its shade. So the grandmother used to say, a blessing rests on the house where the shadow of a tree falls. And today, the present owners must also be receiving the tree's blessings. At the spot, so previously, where he was standing, see in the picture you will be observing the man where he was standing, there used to be a turnstile. So you all knows what is the turnstile. See, a gate which is revolving horizontal arms fixed to vertical post, and usually one person passes through it. Only one person. Everyone cannot move. Even now you will be observing in the park the old turnstiles. That is called as the turnstile, and as a boy he would swing on it, going round and round until he was quite dizzy. See, when you stand on that, what happens? You will get some sensation. What kind of sensation? Spinning around and losing one's balance. So it comes under as a digi. Now the turnstile had gone, the opening walled up. Now today he had changed. The new owner who was living in that house, he had removed the turnstile. Tall hollyhocks grew. Hollyhock means a tall garden plant with large showy flowers. See, in the picture you will be observing. So this is called as the tall hollyhocks. Where they were, other side of the wall, you will be observing. What are you looking at? It was a disembodied voice at first. Moments later, a girl stood framed between dark red hollyhocks staring at the man. She was only 12 or 13, slim and dark, with lively eyes and long black hair. So he heard a voice. What are you looking at? And how it is disembodied means it's a sound lacking obvious physical source. We are not going to observe, but he heard a sound. So moments later, after a moment, a girl was standing because she was framed between dark and hollyhock staring at the man. When you look at a girl, she was only 12 or 13 and she is so slim and dark with attractive eyes and her hair is long and black in color. Now turn your face. I'm looking at the house, I said. Why? Do you want to buy it? Is it your house? It is my father's. And what does your father do? He is only a colonel. Only a colonel. Well, he should have been a brigadier by now. The man burst out laughing. It's not funny, she said. Even mummy says he should have been a brigadier. So he refers to a middle-aged man. Now he is giving an answer to the girl. I am looking at the house. And the girl says, why? What is the reason? Do you want to buy my house? Is it your house? It's my father's. So whose house is it? Is it your own? No, my father bought it. And what does your father do? What is the profession of your father? He is only a colonel, means a officer of a high rank in the army. In army we have some ranking. In that he is a colonel. Well, he should have been a brigadier by now. Is he only a colonel? No, no, by now he has to become a brigadier. Means than a colonel in the army, the highest position we call brigadier. The man burst out laughing when the girl is talking like this. It's not a funny, she said. Even mummy says he should have been a brigadier. I don't feel it's a funny because my mother used to say he should have been. Right now he might be become a brigadier, but still he is a colonel. It was on the tip of his tongue to make a witty remark. Perhaps that is why he has still been a colonel, but he did not want to give offense. They stood on either side of the wall, appraising each other. So perhaps he might be clever, or we can also say amusing. Tip the end of his tongue he is ready to say. What is that remark? That is why he is still a colonel, but he didn't want to give an act of insulting someone. They stood on either side of the wall, appraising each other, examining or considering each other. Well, she said finally, if you don't want to buy the house, what are you looking at? I used to live here once, 25 years ago, as a boy, as a young man, and then my grandmother died, and we sold the house and went away. Now she is saying, finally, why do you stand here? Do you want to buy the house? And what are you looking for? Then he said, I used to live here when before 25 years ago. Now as a boy I used to be, now became a young man, and when my grandmother died, we sold the house and went away from this house. She was silent for a while, taking in this information. So when she heard about this, she was silent when she heard about this information. Then finally she said, you would like to buy it back now, but you don't have the money. He did not look very prosperous. And she said that, do you want to buy? I don't think you are going to buy because you are not looking rich. Prosperous means you are very rich. So I don't think you are going to buy it now. No, I was not thinking of buying it back. Wanted to see it again, that's all. How long have you lived in it? No, I'm not going to buy it. Just I want to look at my house, how it was now. That's all. And how long have you lived in it? Only 3 years, she smiled. And when did you buy this house? The meaning of that? She said, just 3 years back we have bought the house. She had been eating a melon and there was still juice in the corners of her mouth. See, by the time when she was coming out, might she is eating a watermelon, so he observed through at the end of the mouth, the corners of the mouth, he found still the juice. Would you like to come in and look more closely? Wouldn't your parents mind? So, sir, do you want to come inside and look your house so close? Okay, if I come, what about your parents? Wouldn't they think something? They have gone to the club. Now, right now, they are not in the house. The club where people go and enjoy music and dance, we call it as a club. So, my parents were not here. They won't mind. I am allowed to bring my friends home. So, at now they have gone to the club. As the parents were not here, so you can come. Sometimes I'll ask my friends to come to my house. Even elderly friends like me. I am an elderly person. I am not a kid. So would they mind? How old are you? Oh, just middle age, but feeling young today. So the girl is asking about the age of the man. He just middle age. He did not give that he was of 38 or 39 or 40. He simply said middle age. But today I am feeling that I was young. And to prove it, he decided he would climb over the wall instead of going round to the gate. And do you want to prove that I was young? Now can I climb the wall and come inside? He got up on the wall, all right, but had to rest there, breathing heavily. See, the stages of the life. While we were child, we can do any kind of work because we have such a strength. While coming to young man, a little bit change. Coming to middle age, total. Whereas going to the old age, it's lot of different. In the same manner, so he thought that he can climb. He want to prove that he was young. But when he started climbing down the wall, he want to take a heavy breath means that health is not supporting him. The strength what he had is not supporting. Middle-aged man on the flying trapeze, he muttered to himself. Trapeze, swing used by circus acrobats. So I became middle-aged. I'm just like a flying trapeze. He is muttering to himself, quiet voice which is difficult to hear. He is saying to himself, I will help you, she said, and gave him her hand. Don't worry, uncle, I'm going to help you as you are middle-aged. So she said, I will help you, and she had given her hand. He slithered down into a flower bed, shattering the stem of a hollyhock. So moved to the ground when the girl given, shattering, breaking into small pieces. What are broke? Shattered. The stem of the hollyhock had broken. As they walked across the grass, they spotted a stone bench under a mango tree. So now they are going across the grass. There he had observed, they spotted the bench. Previously, they used to have a bench under a mango tree. It was the bench on which his grandmother used to rest when she was tired of pruning rose bushes and bougainvillea. So, why the bench was there? Because when the grandmother used to pluck the trees, means the flowers of the trees, pruning rose bushes. Pruning meaning is trimming. Trimming, what she was trimming? The rose bushes as well as bougainvillea. Means a ornamental shrubby climbing plant widely cultivated in the tropics, which are of bright colored flowers. So when she was pruning all these, she wants some rest because old people cannot do much work. So after pruning, she used to sit on the bench and relax. There was silent. Let us just sit here, he said. I don't want to go inside. She sat beside him on the bench. It was March and the mango tree was in blossom. A sweet, rather heavy fragrance drenched the garden. Now he said, come on, let's sit for a while on this bench, and I don't want to go inside. She also sat beside him on the bench, and the month during the time is March. The mango tree was in blossom. So you can observe the mango trees, how they used to be a mass of flowers on a fruit tree. We can observe. Next, he had also seen a sweet, rather fragrance which drenched the garden, made completely wet. They were silent for some time. Both of them did not speak. The man closed his eyes and remembered other times the music of a piano, the chiming of grandfather's clock, the constant twitter of budgergers on the veranda, his grandmother cranking up the old car. Now he closed his eyes and remembering his past memories. What are the past memories he was observing? He was recalling himself, music of the piano and the ringing of the grandfather's clock, which is called chiming, and the twitter of a bird. What kind of bird? A small bird which belonging to parrot family. He used to come on the veranda and cranking up the old car, the sound of his old car, the grandfather's. I used to climb the jackfruit tree, he said, opening his eyes. I didn't like the jackfruit tree though, do you? And when I was a child, I used to climb even jackfruit tree. He opened the eyes and saying these words, I don't like the jackfruit. Do you like it? It's all right. It pickles. Yeah, my grandmother used to keep some pickles with the jackfruit tree. I used to enjoy it. I suppose so. The tree was easy to climb. I spent a lot of time in it. Do you want to climb it again? My parents won't mind. So I used to climb the tree and enjoy there. I spent lot of time on the jackfruit tree. Now do you want to climb it again? My parents won't mind anything. No, not after climbing the garden wall. No, now I don't want to take a risk. Already I have taken a risk of climbing the garden wall. Let us just sit here for a few minutes and talk. So I will tell you about my memories. Let's sit here and enjoy. I mentioned the jackfruit tree because it was my favorite place. Do you see that thick branch stretching out over the roof? Halfway along it, there is a small hollow in which I used to keep some of my treasures. See, when you observe the thick branch stretching out over the roof, there is a small hole. In that small hole, I used to keep some of my treasures, a collection of valuable, memorable things when I used to be a young boy. What kind of treasures you used to keep there? The girl asked. Oh, nothing very valuable. Marbles I had one. It's not valuable things. Treasures means in those days I used to enjoy with the marbles. A book I wasn't supposed to read. A few old coins I would collected. So some books which I supposed to read and the old coins which I collected I used to keep in a hole. Things came and went. I was a bit of crow, collecting bright things and putting them away. So things used to be done. I just compare to a bit of crow. So crow also, she takes everything whatever it collect to the nest. In the same manner, whatever I used to collect the bright things, I put in that hole. There was my grandfather's iron cross. Even today, I can remember the iron cross of my grandfather's were kept there. Well, not my grandfather's exactly, because he was a British and the Iron Cross was a German decoration awarded for bravery during the war, the First World War. When my grandfather fought in France, he got it from a German soldier. So he was talking about the explanation of Iron Cross. How did he get this Iron Cross? The German decoration which was awarded for the grandfather for his bravery during the war, which was First World War, and the grandfather fought in France. He got from German soldier. Dead or alive? How was the grandfather? Did he pass away or he was alive? I beg your pardon. Oh, you mean the German? I never asked. Dead, I suppose, or perhaps he was a prisoner. I never asked grandfather. Isn't that strange? So what about a German? Is he passed away or alive? She want to know. Not about the grandfather. So I suppose dead. Perhaps he was a prisoner, and I did not ask the grandfather about that story. And the iron cross, do you still have it? And what about the iron cross? The girl asked, do you have it inside that hole? No, he said, looking her in the eyes. I left it in the jackfruit tree. You left it in the tree. Yes, I was so excited at the time, packing and saying goodbye to people and thinking about the ship I was going to sail. On that, I simply forgot all about it. So, did you take that iron cross or still it is there inside? So, I forgot about it because I was busy in packing all the things and saying goodbye to the people. And only one thing is about the ship. So I used to sail on the ship, so I simply forgot about the iron cross. She was silent, considering her finger on her lips, her gaze fixed on the jackfruit tree. Then quietly she said, it must still be there in the hollow in the branch. So she became silent and thinking about the iron cross. Might it will be there in that hole nobody had taken away. Yes, he said, it's 25 years, but it must still be there unless someone else found it. So it might be 25 years past it, and if nobody had found, you can observe that inside that hole. Would you like to go and look? I can't climb trees anymore. So do you want to go and check about the iron cross? No, now during this time I cannot climb the trees. If you can, I will go and see. You just sit here and wait for me. She sprang up and ran across the grass, swift and sweet of limb. Soon she was in the jackfruit tree, crawling along the projecting branch. A warm wind brought little eddies of the dust along the road. Summer was in the air. So if you are unable to climb, I am ready to climb, the girl said, and she sprang up, and she ran across the grass, swift and sweet of the limb. Sweet of the limb refers to climb the tree like a bird, because her curiosity to look at the iron cross. Soon she was on the jackfruit tree. She was crawling the projecting branch. Now, when she was crawling along the projecting branch, a warm wind brought eddies. Eddies means circular movement of dust. We come under eddies because it's so clear in the month of March, so it is summer. We can feel the summer was in the air. I have found it, she cried. I have found something. So she kept her hand in the hole and she was searching. Finally, she was so excited. I found, she was shouting. And now, barefoot, she ran breathlessly towards him in her outstretched hand, a rusty old medal. So she did not wear slippers, no? So barefoot, she came down and she wanted to show that man. So how was it? The iron cross, it became so rusty because 25 years back it was kept. Even now nobody had observed about this old medal. He took it from her and turned it over on his palm. Now he want to clean that iron cross. So the middle-aged man took from her and turned it over his palm. Is it the iron cross? She asked eagerly. So she wanted to know whether it is iron cross or not. Yes, he said, this is it. Yes, this is the iron cross. Now I know why you came. You wanted to see if it was still in the tree. Now I understood the reason of your coming to this house. You want to look at the iron cross. You may be right. I am not really sure why I came, but you can keep the cross. You found it after all. So you may be right. Maybe think so that I came to look at this, but I'm not really sure. Now it is your gift. You can take it and keep the cross with you because you found it after 25 years. No, you keep it. It is yours. The girl said, no, uncle. You can take it and keep with you. But it could have remained in the tree for another 25 years if you hadn't climbed up to look for it. If right now, if you did not climb and take it, might be, I suppose, 25 years back after, nobody have seen and it will be there in the hole. But if you hadn't come back again, but it will be there if you hadn't come. Now you came and you have told about the story, so we have taken out, the girl said. On the right day, at the right time, with the right person, he said, getting up and placing the medal in her hands. It was not the cross I came for, it was my youth. Maybe this is the right time, right day, and the right person. He said, the cross is with them. Getting up slowly and placed the medal in her hands. So I didn't come for the sake of cross, but I want to feel my youth. She didn't understand that, but she walked with him to the gate and stood there gazing after him as he walked away. The girl did not understand the words of the man, but she was looking after him, though he started walking away from that path. Where the road turned, he looked back and waved to her. Now he wanted to turn because it came to the end of the road. So looking back, and the man was waving to her. Then he quickened his steps and moved briskly towards the bus stop. So briskly means very quickly, very busily he started moving because he has to reach the bus stop there. There was sprightliness in his step and something cried aloud in his heart. So some energy actions were there. It's come under as a sprightliness. It is very lively and his actions were so happy mood in his every step, but something cried aloud in the heart. Dark dancing eyes, melon sweet lips, lissom limbs, the mango-scented summer breeze made the blood course in his veins, and he forgot for a moment that he couldn't climb trees anymore. So the mango-scented summer breeze, so this blood coursing in his veins because he was recalling all his sweet memories with the touch of the house as well as the tree. So, but he forgot for a moment that he couldn't climb trees anymore. So, this is our lesson which was written by our Ruskin Bond. Here are the glossary meanings. Down we have a question and answers. So, project work is given here. Just look at it. Work in 3 groups and make the report as suggested below. Present all the reports before the whole class. This will do when the school is reopened. Finally, page number 88, there is a self-assessment. You can do your own self-assessment here. Thank you. Have a nice day.